G'day folks, time to do some maintenance work and a bit of exploration on the Honda. I've given the engine a bit of a wash yesterday, got rid of most of the oil. This cap here turned out to be it's actually a plastic snap-in cap, which I was able to pull out and put a new O-ring on. At first I thought it might have been like a full moon seal with a permanent rubber edge, but it's not. It's got a replaceable rubber O-ring on it, and that stopped the oil pouring out the end here and flooding down the front of the engine. Everything seems to be pretty right. What I'm doing now is undercar oil leaks. I found that sump bolt there was missing and two here were loose, so that wasn't helping. I'm just going around torquing down the sump bolts again, and I'm taking this clutch inspection cover off just to make sure there's no oil coming out of the rear main. It looked mostly like it was flooding down the front from external sources, but hopefully it's not a rear main. Front main I can do easy, rear main means taking the gearbox off. And by that point, if I'm going to take the flywheel and everything off, I might as well put a new clutch in it anyway. Not hard, but just unnecessary expense at this point. Yeah, it's all old, dirty, oily stuff. That's AC hose. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. Getting in here and getting dirty. Do engine mounts. I'll get the full set of 5 engine mounts because half these are busted. That one's completely busted. Doesn't do the drive shaft or anything any good. Again, the boots aren't cracked up or broken, so that's good. But yeah, that's... The gasket itself is still fairly flexible. It's just some of these bolts it's slackened off. So hopefully that fixes it. Or fixes it well enough to get through roadworthy anyway. I don't care if my car marks its territory where it sits, but I don't want it dripping oil when it goes through the actual check, because then they get a bit grouchy. Yeah. It's broken too. Probably the broken engine mounts have flexed the exhaust so much it's snapped. Oh, disconnect the battery, get the MIG welder out, and zap zap. That'll fix that in place. Yeah, so it's not too bad. No sign of oil coming out around here anymore. Well, it was mainly here, and it was just flooding down over the thermostat housing down the back and blowing back over the distributor when you're driving. It was making a mess. And there was a fair bit coming out because the O-ring had gone completely hard and like plastic. There it is. Well, it's not completely hard, but it's gone from being a round section to a rectangular section, and that cap was just floating around in there. It was just slapping around, letting oil out. Next thing's also take the throttle body off and clean that up, because right now it's just hypersensitive to, well, it's not hypersensitive. I think the idle control takes a little bit to respond at times. It's a bit sticky. So I'll clean up the idle air control shutter valve, and I wish I could put a softer rate spring on this throttle. It's just a lot heavier than the RAV4's. And with the way the accelerator's set up, it's almost a bit hard to use. So I would like to put a softer spring on that, but I don't think I can. Yeah. That's vacuum reservoir essentially. It's part of the intake. That's a manifold absolute pressure sensor, a MAP sensor. On the RAV4 it's just up here on the firewall with a hose connecting it. In this case it's straight on the throttle body. There's no MAF meter. Obviously MAP is a replacement for MAF. Mass airflow, or MAF, has a meter down here that measures airflow. Manifold absolute pressure measures how much vacuum is in the manifold. Well, it measures atmospheric pressure. Fuel rail, everything looks good. Yeah, probably due for. Yeah, it's a fairly old looking fuel filter, so it wouldn't hurt to do a new fuel filter along with the major service of oil and such. Oil, leads, probably spark plugs. There's a Sumitomo 2000. Yeah, it's probably, I think those are original leads. They do look like original leads. So yeah, full set of leads. I'll take the distributor cap off and see what it's like. I'm guessing being a distributor there's going to be a rotor and everything in there. If that's degraded then I'll replace it. But again, it still runs just fine. It doesn't miss or stumble or do anything silly, so I don't know, maybe I'll just leave the sleeping dog's life for the time being. Don't disturb them. Create more problems than that's worth. Okay, looking pretty good in there. There is evidence of oil seeping in from up the top, but probing around the bottom of the housing in here with a wire, all I'm getting is clutch dust with a very minimal amount of absorbed oil. It's not actually flooding out, so I'm happy with that. The rear main, yeah, see, that's dust. That's just clutch dust on the inner lip of the flywheel. The rear main's just up there, the crankshaft seal. If the rear main had failed, this inner lip would just be, well, it wouldn't be dust, it'd be goop. So, no, rear main's fine. It's all, it's coming down from the top. Probably just that main seal up there and a bit from back here. So, oil leaks shouldn't be a problem at all. Main thing is get that set of engine mounts on order for $300. It's all 5, I think it even includes the rear diff mount. And it should be right. Yeah, there's one there, there's an upper mount, and I think there are 2 at the back. So no, it doesn't include the diff mount at the rear, but it includes everything else, and the rear diff mount looks fine anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I'll start the engine up and you can see why I put this mark here. That's mine. I could do a Reddit thing and write a message on the flywheel before putting it back in there. Or putting the cover back on. I think I need a bigger mark to get the camera to visually sync with the flywheel. It was just an idea. One thing I did notice, even though this is a double skin exhaust, it's leaking out through here, so there must be a crack further up. I'm going to have to get the TIG welder out and fix that. It's only that spot there and that spot there, and it's where the weld in the tube has been stretched, being seam welded pipe. It's a bit of a weak spot, and yeah, I'm going to have to patch that up. That, or it's only a little Y pipe essentially. It goes, I don't have to replace either of the cats, it's more a question whether I can get it off. I might find another one. Don't know if they'll fail that for roadworthy. Well, I guess they will if they find it. If they find it, they'll fail it, so I think I'll just cut that section out and put a bit of a patch on it, or just patch over it. It's not hard. I've already got to get in there and weld that, so I might just get the TIG out and TIG weld the whole lot. I'll do the engine mounts first so that it doesn't crack the new bracket, and we should be right. And I'll get that cover back on. So that's good. She's a fairly happy little car, just needs engine mounts and 3 tyres and power window fix. That's about it. This one should pass the roadworthy quite easily. And a service. Where is the oil filter? I have not seen an oil filter on this yet. I'm guessing it's on the back. Yep, there you are. Hiding right up back in one of the worst possible locations. One thing I'll give Toyota, the engine's the other way around, it runs clockwise and the oil filter's right on the front where you can get to it. Honda's arse about in every single way. Not so cool. There's an O2 sensor. And a cat converter. Yeah. That's differential to rear end. Yeah. Interesting little jiggers. A harmonic balancer for the drive shaft. Yeah, they're fun at working under cars. Yeah, I had someone ask me what manuals are like, because they've always had auto cars, and manuals are fun. They're not as easy as an auto, because on an auto you've got a fluid clutch. In this case it's mechanical. When you depress the clutch, the engine's not engaged to the transmission at all. When you bring the clutch in, it's basically hard connected. I mean, you've got friction material, you've got a certain amount of travel to slip the clutch in, but there's no fluid clutch to basically stop the engine from stalling when you come to a stop, or even just drop it in too quick. So yeah, manuals are fun. I like them. I was thinking about getting an auto CRV for another $1,000 more, but to be honest, manual's fun. I mean, I like the lazy factor of the auto, but for something like this that I'm not going to be putting a huge amount of kilometres on, manual's awesome. If it was a daily driver, I mean, there are times where I wish Bluey Rav was auto, but that's only because I do so many Ks in him. This one, it's an old car. I'm just going to be using it as a runabout and that sort of thing, and yeah, it's yeah, I'll have to do I think I have done an explanation on manual transmissions. Shut up, bird. I think I have done an explanation on manual and auto transmissions, but I have got a Holden Trimatic auto to tear down soon, so I'll do another one, and a cutaway of the torque converter. Because the torque converter for an auto doesn't actually have a mechanical connection between the engine and the input shaft of the gearbox. It's all fluid. It's all to do with friction and drag, or resistance. The path of fluid passing through the vanes and the rotors, or the turbine of the turbine and the stator of the torque converter. Whereas a manual, you've just got a mechanical clutch that grabs. Once you've dropped that pedal in, your engine is hard connected to the shafts, the gears, that go straight to the wheels. That's it. The only slip is in the clutch, and you have to operate that yourself. If it's slipping otherwise, then it's broken or worn out. So yeah, manuals are fun. I recommend them. I mean, if you're doing a lot of city driving day in, day out, auto's fine. Auto's good. But if you're driving around semi-suburban or rural areas, manual's even better. Yeah, that's an automatic transmission there, and inside this cylindrical device, or toroidal looking device, you've got a series of fixed vanes called stators on the housing of it, and a turbine on the inside. So when it's pumped full of fluid, you've got the resistance of the fluid getting trapped and passed between stator vanes and turbine vanes to drive the shaft through the centre of it. So yeah, completely different to a clutch. Clutch is a hard mechanical connection with a little bit of friction material on it that you can control with your foot. Torque converter, you basically put your foot on the brake, snap it into drive, and the engine can continue idling, spinning that torque converter, but the shaft remains stationary until you, well, the output shaft remains stationary until you actually let off the brake and let it start to gain momentum and pressure, and the clutch packs start engaging first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. They're an interesting and very, very useful creation, the automatic transmission, or fluid coupling as they used to call it. I think back in the day it was like 1 or 2 speed fluid coupling, and that was it. Nowadays you get like 8 speed autos or 9 speed autos or something like that. Ridiculous amounts of gears. And don't even go into constant velocity transmissions, or CVTs, continuously variable transmission I should say. Yeah, CVT. Honda, I think Toyota and Nissan use quite a few CVTs now. Anyway, I'll do a video on transmissions later, especially if I can find an old HRV CVT or a Nissan Murano CVT, something or Topsy, preferably one that's blown up so I can show you what goes horribly wrong inside them. and it's a lot. It's expensive when they go bad. Okay, I got them all tigged up yesterday afternoon. Wasn't too hard, but yeah, awkward position to work in. So the engine's a lot quieter now. It's definitely leaking a fair bit. No more obvious exhaust leak anyway. So yeah, that's good. Tighten the sump bolts, they're good. There's no sign of an ongoing oil leak now, so I think we're pretty right. Just need to order those engine mounts when I've got a bit more cash on hand. Do the engine mounts. Yeah. Clean the throttle body today actually. That's what we can do next. But I'll make that a separate video. Yeah, I'll make that a separate video. How to clean the throttle body and everything on one. And I'll give the interior a good clean too, it needs it. Keep finding Pokemon trading card wrappers. No cards though. Anyway, that'll do for now. Thanks for watching.